it's not going on?
The walls are caving in on Floyd Mayweather, and he can no longer do the one thing he has always done to solve his problems: fight. Boxing didn't just make Floyd a Hall of Famer, it also made him filthy rich. He has earned an estimated $1.2 billion over his entire career, but today he is pawning off his watches to pay off debts, running from multi-million-dollar tax bills from the IRS, bobbing and weaving child support payments.
So this nigga he gotta sell all his jewelry and shit, and this nigga that made $1 billion. Boy, they gotta suck fucking $1 billion up. They actually gotta motherfucking sucks.
Promoting questionable crypto coins, going toe-to-toe with countless lawsuits, and gambling the rest of the cash that he does have. As a result, many are calling him broke, which is something 50 Cent had been trying to warn us about for well over a decade.
Does Floyd Mayweather, is he as rich as we think he is? No.
Floyd Money Mayweather's business mogul persona is looking like nothing more than a facade. He has desperately tried to convince you that he has made calculated investments alongside a team of business geniuses.
I made some very, very smart investments.
But there is a very real possibility that Floyd cannot read, which means he likely couldn't understand the deals he was getting into, or he is playing dumb on purpose. And now that he can't fight his way into another multi-million-dollar payday, he is looking like he's going to be the guy who earned generational wealth only to blow it all in one generation. This is how it happened.
Imagine flexing all that motherfucking money just to go fucking broke. I'ma laugh at your goofy ass. Cause how dare you flex all that money on my broke ass? I'ma laugh at your ass. That's just me personally, bro. I'ma laugh at your ass. Stop flexing money on these broke ass niggas like me.
Mayweather Sr. was arrested on drug trafficking charges, convicted, and sentenced to 5 years in prison in 1993, which is just a small insight into the trauma Floyd experienced as a child.
My mother was on drugs. My dad been shot by my mother brother. I was right there. My dad had grabbed me. Was holding me in his arms when he got shot. My dad been in prison. And I've been through a lot.
Despite his chaotic upbringing, Floyd Jr. was determined to follow in his father's footsteps in the ring. He had a stellar amateur career, but in one of his last amateur fights, he lost in the Atlanta Olympics against the Bulgarian Serafim Torodov. Floyd was not necessarily dominating the fight, but most people watching thought he would be the victor. Even the referee thought he should have won. As the announcer revealed Torodov was the winner, the ref lifted up Floyd's arms, seemingly confused. But while this kind of loss could have derailed other young athletes, Floyd said it only motivated him to become great.
The referee raised my hand because he thought I won. But I'm glad that the fight went like it went.
Why?
If it did, it made me work that much harder as a professional not to feel that same pain again.
So you believe losing that fight was the greatest thing that ever happened to Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
That was one of the...
See, niggas start making shit up when they get their ass beat. Niggas start saying anything. Yeah, that was one of the best moments of my life. I wanted to lose that fight. Nigga, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. You whoop your ass, bro. Just be real. Talking about, oh yeah, that was one of my best moments of my career. Nigga, shut up. You got your ass beat.
The best things that happened to me. One of the best things.
This setback was the perfect marketing storyline for his first official pro match against Roberto Apodaca. Promoters were building Floyd up as the young prodigy who got robbed at the Olympics, working as hard as he could to support his dad when he got out of prison. And by all accounts, Floyd delivered. He took Roberto down in round 2 with an incredibly precise shot to the kidney. But the most impressive part for new fans was that he was basically untouchable due to near-perfect defense. However, becoming a professional fighter didn't immediately make him rich and famous. Floyd only made $2,500 in his debut fight. He had just signed to Top Rank, a fighting promotion ran by the legendary Bob Arum. Bob's job was to turn fighters into stars. Top Rank put up the money to create Floyd's fights, negotiate television deals, find opponents, and slowly build his reputation. In return, they had the exclusive right to promote his fights and take a massive percentage of the money each event generated. All Floyd had to do was win, and he did. did. He earned the nickname Pretty Boy Floyd due to his remarkable speed and defense. His opponents barely ever hit him in the face, so he never really had any cuts or bruises. His nice guy look while being a savage knockout artist got fans invested in him. And at this point in his career, he was much more humble, soft-spoken, and generally more passionate and emotionally invested in his fights. But as Floyd kept winning, he realized something strange. Everyone around him was making way more money than he was.
I took it upon myself to learn the business part of boxing. Why let a promoter keep majority of the money? He's not out there competing.
Mayweather desperately needed to renegotiate his business affairs. The problem was, making money in the ring and making money outside of it are two very different skills, and Floyd wasn't exactly prepared to be the big boss he thought he was. But real quick, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Simply Safe. Let's take a look at it. Or the side door. No safe, like Simply Safe. By 2006, Floyd Jr. had a perfect 33-0 record after beating the absolute brakes off Arturo Gatti. Despite this, Gatti was still considered the bigger draw, and actually earned more money than Floyd. Now, $3.2 million was still an amazing payday for most boxers' standards, but he felt like he was getting less than he deserved. Mayweather had just purchased his first mansion in the Las Vegas Mountain Trails neighborhood for $3 million, and needed to bring in multiple millions to sustain the lifestyle he wanted. Him and Bob Arum started disagreeing on Floyd's payouts, also referred to in boxing as the purse. Floyd felt that it was his work in the ring that got him the sold-out arenas, whereas Bob felt that the financial risk he took on Floyd for the past 10 years, building him up from a nobody to a superstar, is what gave him the authority to choose what Floyd should get paid. This is exactly the same type of situation when an artist is 4 albums deep into their recording contract, and all of a sudden they say the label is evil, and that they're taking too large of a percentage, and that they should be allowed to be independent now. But when the label was spending millions of dollars promoting this artist when nobody knew them, everything was fine. Floyd was able to slowly get larger purses, receiving $4.3 million against Sharmba Mitchell, then $5 million against Zab Judah, but the breaking point came when Bob wanted Floyd to fight Antonio Margarito. Floyd demanded an $8 million purse, but Bob refused. He didn't believe the fight could generate enough money to justify paying Floyd that much. Betting on himself, Floyd paid roughly $750,000 to buy himself out of his contract with Top Rank. He walked away from the man who built his career and started his own company called Mayweather Promotions.
I think the best move that I ever made was leaving Top Rank. I was making, 7 figures with them, but once I left them, I made 8 figures. That was the best move I ever made in my whole career, was becoming my own boss.
It was the biggest gamble of his life. Instead of relying on somebody else, Floyd would now be 100% responsible for negotiating all of his business affairs. But this appeared to pay off almost immediately. His very next fight against Carlos Baldomir earned him the exact $8 million purse he had been asking Bob Arum for. To Floyd, it looked like he had just proven everyone wrong, and he followed that up by stepping up to the biggest challenge of his life, fighting the legendary Oscar de la Hoya. Oscar was universally loved, called the Golden Boy with his nice guy personality, but Mayweather Jr. had a very similar image, and if he was going to sell this match, he would have to become the villain of American boxing.
Look me in the eye right now, Oscar. Look me in my eye. I'm gonna beat you. I'm the top drawer. You remember that? Can't be two good guys. I chose to be the bad guy. I'm gonna beat you till you respect me. I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna make you call me pretty. I'm gonna beat you like that. I'm still gonna beat this. Making a toast to me kicking Oscar.
Here we are in the biggest fight of our lives, and you have the pound for pound champion of the world acting like out of his mind. He couldn't control himself. I'm gonna make it a rough.
Imagine saying all this shit and getting your ass beat, bro. Just imagine, though, like,
and tough fight come May 5th.
I'm so scared. Hi, my name Oscar de la Hoya. I'm gonna do this. You ain't gonna do shit.
HBO's 24/7 gave fans a closer look at Mayweather's personality. One boxing journalist wrote, "He was loud, he was obnoxious, he was arrogant, and he had no problem painting himself as the villain. He read the landscape and figured he could make money as the bad guy. If everyone wouldn't pay to see him win, maybe he could get some people to pay to see him win and others to pay in hopes that he would get his big mouth shut for once." Floyd's promotional efforts paid off big time, achieving 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, making it the highest grossing non-heavyweight pay pay-per-view event ever. Mayweather walked up to the ring wearing a sombrero and a bedazzled Mexican flag to taunt Mexican fans rooting for De La Hoya. But when they entered the ring, it was clear that Mayweather was going to have to pull out every defensive tool he had in his arsenal. De La Hoya had a deadly focus, and all of Floyd's mental tricks seemed to be meaningless as he continued to find himself back into a corner. It was the toughest match that either of them had ever fought, and Floyd barely came out on top with a technical victory. Mayweather ended up winning by split decision, securing him the WBC welterweight championship title and keeping his perfect unbeaten record. Floyd Mayweather Jr. had officially reached the top of the mountain in boxing, and this fight earned him a staggering $25 million. He had nothing left to prove, and at the end of the fight, he announced his retirement from the sport. This was the official end of Pretty Boy Floyd and the beginning of Floyd Money Mayweather, touting himself as a CEO and business tycoon. Well, it turns out that Floyd's retirement was just a way to avoid him fighting Oscar De La Hoya again. Oscar put a rematch clause in their contract, meaning Floyd legally had to run it back, but Floyd officially retired for 1 year and 1 day so he could fight someone else. Probably his one and only genius business move. In his next bout, Floyd knocked out Ricky Hatton in the 10th round in a match that earned him another $25 million. He was now in a position where he felt completely
Damn, imagine getting $25 million just from fucking fighting. Like, I fight till my fucking hands fall off, nigga. Just imagine.
dominant over all his potential opponents, and now his only motivation to fight was based on how much money he could extract from the deal.
Because I gave the sport my whole life, so I really don't, as of right now, I'm really bored with the sport of boxing. With the De La Hoya fight, I really didn't want to come back to the sport. But then I told you, if I do business with Oscar and they give me a price that I can't resist, he gonna get me back in there, and they gave me a price I couldn't resist, so I had to get in there.
Trainer Roger Mayweather thinks it will be hard to walk away from another huge payday.
Bill Gates still making computers, ain't he? So you know what that means? That if a man can make that kind of money in one night, where else you gonna get it?
Instead of fighting, Money Mayweather was now flaunting stacks of cash and purchasing luxury cars.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's $1 million right there.
It's evident Floyd knew how to count, but didn't really know how to save for the IRS. Mayweather paid $15.5 million in taxes for 2001 and 2003 through 2007, only after the IRS filed liens against him. And coughing up that amount of cash is not easy, even for someone like Floyd, which is why some suspected he might only be coming back to boxing for a payday.
You're a man of many things, but you're a master of nothing.
I seem to be occupying my job, though. As you often say, you're just a guy with a job. I have a job, though. So who would you fight next?
And guess what? Your job don't pay like my job.
Well, it depends.
Your job don't pay like my job.
That brings me to another point.
I can make $200 million in 18 months because I want to. Because I want to come back and steal some more money. Is that okay with you?
It's fine.
Okay.
I enjoy watching your fights.
Okay.
Who might be next?
It doesn't matter.
All right, how about Manny Pacquiao?
If he wanted, he can get it.
Mayweather's next bout was against Juan Manuel Marquez, and the IRS sent Nevada boxing regulators a levy notice in 2009.
Nigga went from popping it on broke niggas to turning it into a broke nigga himself. Shit. Karma's a bitch.
Ordering that $5.6 million in unpaid taxes will be deducted from Mayweather's $10 million purse, to which Mayweather agreed to, but this was nowhere near the end of his tax troubles. The IRS had Floyd Mayweather Jr. on the hook for $7.2 million in taxes from 2010, according to tax records that show a lien as unresolved for the year he fought Shane Mosley. In that fight from 2010, Floyd won a staggering $40 million. It was these kinds of paydays that allowed Floyd to keep flaunting larger and larger stacks of cash and wearing expensive watches, all while his debts to the government were constantly creeping up behind him. However, Mayweather's tax attorney Jeffrey Morse told the Associated Press that the 2010 lien was no longer valid. There is no tax obligation outstanding for the 2010 tax year, Morse wrote, even though county court records still showed the matter as unresolved. Morse later told FightHype.com that Floyd's a savvy investor, and if he's investing money and getting a rate of return that far exceeds what he has to pay the IRS IRS in interest, then any smart business person is going to take advantage of that deferral. Basically, they're trying to suggest that since the IRS charges a 7% interest rate on money owed, that Floyd was investing his money into things that were getting him more than a 7% return to essentially profit off not paying his taxes, and then just simply waiting until they essentially bang down his door to get the money from him. And although there are much better ways to increase business expenses and take some calculated losses to offset tax liabilities, it's not impossible that this is his strategy. But Floyd has never remotely given any insight to convince anyone that he is a savvy businessman. He defaults to just saying he makes investments.
I made some very, very smart investments.
What have you been doing since you've been retiring other than hanging out with your kids? Are you doing any work outside your foundation?
Oh, just smart investments. Very, very smart investments.
But when you look at Floyd's very public spending habits into luxury cars, overpriced jewelry, private flights, it's hard to tell if avoiding taxes was a calculated investment strategy or simply someone who didn't want to write a very large check to the IRS. However, none of us would have really known about Floyd's money troubles if it weren't for his complicated friendship with 50 Cent. Because after Floyd refused to pay 50, he didn't hold back from exposing the Money Mayweather facade. In 2011, the friendship between Mayweather Jr. and 50 Cent started to become more of an official business partnership when Floyd announced a new film company called Mayweather Productions using the infrastructure from 50 Cent's Cheetah Vision Films. The first movie was going to be an action film titled Tomorrow Today. 50 Cent was set to write and direct it, and shooting was planned for August 2011 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It came alongside a reported $200 million investment deal for Cheetah Vision to produce and release 10 movies distributed by Lionsgate. All of a sudden, they were constantly seen side by side in commercials, magazine covers, and formed TMT, which is an acronym for The Money Team. It seems like a fair assumption that 50 Cent had access to the entertainment industry, which Floyd presumably wanted to make money in, and then Floyd had access to the boxing industry that 50 Cent presumably wanted to invest in. Floyd said, "As far as boxing, I think 50 is going to be involved with the promotion side. We might even have him fight on pay-per-view one time. We don't know what the future holds, but he is getting involved with boxing." Unfortunately, when Floyd was getting in trouble with the law, their partnership started to crumble. You see, Floyd had a bit of a history of violence outside of the ring. He was convicted in 2002 of misdemeanor battery stemming from a fight with 2 women at a Las Vegas nightclub. He received a suspended 1-year jail sentence and was ordered to undergo impulse control counseling. He was fined in Grand Rapids in February 2005 and ordered to perform community service after pleading no contest to misdemeanor assault and battery for a bar fight. He was acquitted by a Nevada jury in July 2005 after being accused of hitting and kicking his ex-girlfriend Josie Harris during an argument outside a Las Vegas nightclub. And a boxer having a short fuse is no surprise to most. I mean, how could we forget his legendary crash out against 80-year-old Larry Merchant?
You were aggressive and trying and taking advantage of what you saw.
You know what I'm gonna do? Because you don't ever give me a face shake. You know that? So I'm gonna go and let you talk to Victor Ortiz, all right? I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking
heard him.
about?
You never give me a face shake. HBO need to fire you. You don't know about boxing. You ain't you not
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Don't do with you now.
But this temper becomes particularly problematic when he puts his hands on the mother of his children, especially in front of them. When facing domestic violence charges again in 2010, he knew the odds were stacked against him. He admitted to hitting his now ex, Josie Harris, and twisting her arm, and decided to take a plea deal, receiving a guilty verdict and spending 90 days in jail. Initially, 50 and Floyd continued like it was business as usual, hyping up fans regarding a possible fight with boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. 50 even started trolling by tweeting, "Pac Manny ducking cause he know he gonna get his ass handed to him. I told Floyd beat his ass before he go to jail," holding stacks of money to show the Money Team was still locked in. 50 Cent was even there to pick up Floyd from jail with the rest of the Mayweather family after his sentence was up in the summer of 2012. But when Floyd got out, everything changed. 50 said, "Everybody around him is waiting on the next time he feels generous, and I have a lot, so I don't wait for nobody. It's just a space and time. I'll go and do what I have to do. I don't gotta sit around and wait for the next time he feels like giving somebody something." From there, 50 would reveal Floyd's extreme lack of business acumen as the reason why they had a falling out.
Now, what do you mean he changed his mind?
Like, as he was actually going into jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather Promotions.
Right.
Then, as he actually got in, I took a look. I realized there is no Mayweather Promotions. There's no LLC. There's no seal. It's not incorporated. There's no. It's just
the name.
Yeah,
that comes out people's mouth.
Technically, Floyd is a Golden Boy fighter. Fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on
like
every
the negotiations and the imprint, the paperwork.
They build the whole show. When he says helping with Mayweather promotions and it's not there, I go, okay, I know what he means. He wants me to
get it together,
put it together for him. So I do TMT promotions. I get it all the way together. Sign the actual fighters. I brought him over while Floyd was, still incarcerated. Yeah. Then he comes home. There's the Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign that goes on, where it's $300,000 chains being bought and buying the new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you're already invested.
Yeah. Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail.
Now, either 50 was being misleading on purpose, or he just kind of mixed up his words. He said Mayweather Promotions wasn't incorporated, which is just false. Public records and court filings from many years earlier already reference Mayweather Promotions LLC, meaning the company did exist. What he could have meant was that Mayweather Promotions wasn't properly licensed as a promoter in Nevada, and that Floyd was essentially a Golden Boy Promotions fighter, which does seem to check out, because Golden Boy was the licensed promoter for all of Floyd's fights from 2007 to 2014. Mayweather Promotions was listed as the co-promoter. Now, I think it's a safe assumption that Golden Boy was the company that was working with the Athletic Commission, securing the venue, arranging insurance, coordinating production, negotiating television and pay-per-view distribution, handling sponsorships, overseeing ticket sales, and making sure that the event actually happened. Floyd, on the other hand, most likely was just a fighter, just like he had always been his entire career. And sure, he is technically independent and negotiating his pay on his own behalf, but the Mayweather Promotions being on the flyer makes it look like he was running this boxing empire. And that context matters when we talk about the formation of the Money Team, which was supposed to be a joint venture boxing promotion between 50 and Floyd. It is true that while Floyd was locked up, the Money Team had not been legally incorporated, and 50 Cent went through the process of setting up the legal entity. 50 even went further and started signing fighters to the promotion and wanted to start the process of setting up fights. But then Floyd wouldn't put up his half of the money that was invested, and then went on to tell 50 that he basically never asked him to do this joint venture in the first place.
When is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it? And then when
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell you how to do that. I didn't tell you to do that. And I'm looking at him, and he looked in my face and he told me to do that.
Now the big question is, why wouldn't Floyd want to go into business with 50? Like, where was the misunderstanding? 50 basically says he's nothing more than a fighter, and that he doesn't know all of the complicated and detailed steps of what it actually takes to put on a pay-per-view event. But he takes it a step further and says Floyd doesn't do anything without the assistance of others. He doesn't even tweet.
That's not Floyd. Floyd don't tweet.
Wow.
That's not him on Instagram. He got somebody next to him. See, everybody around him is codependent. So they're going to roll with what he says regardless.
But do he tell them type this? He got to tell them to type this, though.
Like, they'll tell him what to say. Like, as soon as you get confused, he's going to go, okay, just call out.
Right.
It gets confusing. And then he just goes, just call out.
Now, finding out a professional boxer pays people to do literally everything for him is not surprising. The problem is that Floyd parades himself as a smart investor and savvy businessman, when in reality, 50 revealed that he just fights, spends all his money, then fights again.
What if they call out somebody and then the nigga that called out beat your ass, so what, you gonna get mad at your scene?
Again to make the money back he just spent.
Him making the decision to not put up his half of the actual money is fine. It's kind of trapped in a regimen of fight, get the money, spend the money, fight. Fight, get the money, spend the money, fight. There's no investments, no income from anywhere outside of him fighting. I look forward to having him be involved in situations where he can continuously have income, so he doesn't run into what so often fighters run into at the end of the career, not having any financial support or money around.
After cutting ties with Floyd, 50 Cent repeatedly hinted that he was doing business with Manny Pacquiao, and even suggested that the two would work together, but no formal partnership ever emerged. So 50 resorted to doing what he does best, trolling. A perfect example is when Floyd went out of his way to touch T.I.'s wife Tiny at a red carpet event, and 50 Cent made a video pretending to call Mayweather and tell him to chill out because T.I. might get violent.
Chat, what the f is going on, man? Niggas tell me you down there at the Fat Burger fighting over Tiny. Now that's T.I., man. You gonna cause these niggas to buy more guns in Atlanta.
Floyd responded to 50 in an interview where he said, "God has blessed me with an unbelievable talent, with fast feet, fast hands, unbelievable defense, and a very, very sharp mind. So I'm thankful for that. Of course, hip-hop artists, they come and go. They come and go, but I'm still here."
A lot of these rap artists rap about certain things, but I really live it. Like, you know, every home that I have is paid for. Every car that I have is paid for. And I am a $100 million man. I mean, this is the truth. It's not a lie. I mean, if these guys claim that they're doing certain numbers in certain units, we'll see. My fight is already sold out.
50 woke up the next day and responded to Floyd's comments with one of his most iconic videos ever.
Woke up, I looked at the computer said, Floyd said, T.I. Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance. Say that nigga.
The internet exploded, and Fifth wanted to keep the laughs coming, so in honor of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge trend, he decided to challenge Floyd.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
Fifth sensed that Floyd might not be able to read the Harry Potter book, so he made some changes to his challenge.
I had a phone call from my man Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy said if Floyd accepts the challenge, then he'll put it on the actual show, so you can read it on the show. We don't want to put pressure on you. We know you can't pronounce those words in that Harry Potter book, so we're going to let you read Cat in the Hat.
Sadly, Floyd never accepted the challenge. He only responded with a picture of some multi-million-dollar checks saying, "Read this $72 million. Over the years, 50 Cent continuously mocked Floyd's reading capabilities and intellect, writing out hilarious messages pretending to be Floyd, and 50's trolling was so devastating that to this day, people still make fun of Floyd for allegedly not being able to read. And while the insight that 50 gave us into Floyd's life and lack of business intellect is
having all that money and not be able to read is the biggest mistake you can make in your motherfucking life. Your team can be scamming your dumb ass. Like dead ass.
is technically just hearsay. Considering how bad Mayweather's finances are today, it seemed like 50 Cent was right all along. Floyd did another big money fight, securing a $32 million purse for a rematch against Marcos Maidana. And around this time, Instagram was reaching mainstream popularity, which was perfect for Floyd to constantly flex his wealth. He'd post videos of himself working out while his paid entourage wanders around his gym and scrolls on their phones. He'd post poor quality videos of him panning over watches that had enough diamonds and gems to buy a small suburban neighborhood. He'd show off his massive luxury car collection of customized Ferraris, Bugattis, and Lamborghinis. And in 2014, his collection reached new heights after he purchased an over $50 million Gulfstream G650 nicknamed Air Mayweather, fully customized and branded with the Money Team logo. And leading up to his next super fight with Manny Pacquiao in 2015, he was eager to show off his custom-built Las Vegas home that he nicknamed the Big Boy Mansion for approximately $10 million. Floyd got Stephen A. Smith from ESPN to do an MTV Cribs-style tour to portray himself as one of America's greatest entrepreneurs.
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 level.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
Floyd's tour of his Big Boy Mansion didn't really seem off the cuff or natural. It looked very rehearsed, like he almost practiced everything that he said in this interview. Especially at the end when he showed this wood chopping station outside of his house.
Have to go back to where it all started from.
Chopping wood.
Yeah, chopping wood. It's a method to how you chop. It's like
The hype surrounding his upcoming match with Manny Pacquiao was somehow bigger than De La Hoya. With 57 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, and 38 knockouts, Manny was a legendary matchup. However, Floyd was concerned that beating Manny, who had recently suffered from injuries and was way past his prime, wouldn't really benefit his legacy.
I'm in a no-win situation, no matter what happens. If I beat Manny Pacquiao, you know what they're gonna say? You supposed to beat him. You Floyd Mayweather. You the bigger man. And then if I outbox him, they're gonna say it was a boring fight.
And honestly, Floyd's not wrong here, because the truth is, he should have fought Pacquiao about 7 years earlier. Ultimately, Floyd did come out with a victory and secured another massive win, keeping his perfect 48-0 record. It really was the fight of the century, showcasing the offensive power of Manny and the legendary defense Floyd was famous for. But at the post-fight press conference, he had to remind everyone how well he invested his money.
I don't want to wait
wait till I get almost 40 years old to start taking abuse on my body. You know, I want to be able to have all my faculties. I invested my money extremely well and good. I can quit boxing today and I'm A-OK. But like I said before, I'm blessed and Manny's blessed and he's one hell of a fighter.
The revenue generated from this fight clearly made it worth the wait, as Mayweather Jr.'s purse was an astounding $180 million, walking away with around a total of $250 million. At this point, Floyd had already earned over $420 million from his boxing career. However, 2015 became one of his biggest financial years yet, with Mayweather earning about $300 million and landing at the #1 on Forbes' world's highest paid athletes list. And yet, even with all of that money, he still wasn't paying his debts. The Jewelers Inc. filed a lawsuit against Mayweather Jr. as he reportedly bought a $3 million necklace in September of 2015 made up of 72 3-carat round-cut diamonds. The jeweler claimed he paid $1 million up front and later made 6 additional $100,000 payments, but stopped paying after May of 2016, leaving a $1.4 million balance. So he was either intentionally ripping off jewelers or he couldn't afford it. But considering Floyd bought a second, smaller plane for his entourage to follow him wherever he went, it's likely that he had the money, he just didn't want to pay up. But it wasn't just jewelers. The IRS was missing some payments as well. ESPN reported that a federal tax lien showed Floyd owed the IRS $22.2 million in taxes from 2015. Even more suspicious, Mayweather tried to get the IRS to let him pay over time, and when that did not work, he went to the U.S. tax court asking for more time. He argued that he had substantial assets, but those assets were not available as cash. In other words, he may have had mansions, cars, watches, investments, and other valuable property, but not enough liquid cash available at that moment to be able to pay the bill. The Guardian reported that Mayweather's petition said he had a major liquidity event coming in to pay the bills, meaning he was going to use the upcoming fight with Conor McGregor to pay his taxes. And this cycle of using big fights to pay his bills is exactly what 50 Cent accused him of doing years ago.
Started from the bottom, now I'm here. You're 40 years of age. Dress your f***ing age. Carrying a school bag on stage. What are you doing with a school bag on stage? You can't even read.
From the very beginning, real fight fans looked at the McGregor vs. Mayweather bout as an obvious cash grab for both fighters. Floyd was a retired 40-year-old boxer, and Conor was not a boxer. The build-up was one of the most over-the-top and chaotic promotional tours in combat sports history, with 4 different massive press conferences where the two did these long, drawn-out speeches and stood toe-to-toe, seemingly pretending to hate each other. It was mildly entertaining, but mostly awkward and exhaustive.
Microwave meal, that's what you are. I'm a home cooked meal. With that cheap watch.
You're a microwave meal, I'm a home cooked meal. I don't know what the fuck y'all joked to me back in the days, but hey, I guess it was pretty funny to y'all.
Jones, step your game up. 1.4 million.
Conor had absolutely no chance in the long run and was defeated via TKO in the 10th round. This was the second highest selling pay-per-view in history with 4.3 million buys, generating over $600 million in revenue. The Nevada State Athletic Commission announced that Mayweather reportedly earned around $300 million in total from the fight. This was Floyd Mayweather's last professional bout, and without a guaranteed multi-$100 million payday in his future, he would need to control his spending or find other ways to make money. But as we know, Floyd always has some big investments he is working on.
My real estate portfolio is amazing, but of course I have a strip club. Everybody like, well, why did you get involved with a strip club? You know, even though I still got millions coming in from my real estate and the strip club, I looked at it like this. I said the nightclub, okay, you got alcohol, you got music, but you got to keep switch club around, spending money, whereas would never go out of style. Never.
However, one of these investments turned out to be legitimate fraud. Floyd jumped headfirst into the cryptocurrency craze. He promoted an initial coin offering called Centra Tech, posting on social media, "Centra's ICO starts in a few hours. Get yours before they sell out. I got mine." A few months later, the SEC alleged that Centra's founders had fabricated business relationships with major financial companies like Visa and MasterCard in order to raise millions from investors. The founders were eventually charged with fraud. Now, to be fair to Floyd Floyd, he wasn't accused of helping create the scheme, and during the ICO boom, countless celebrities and influencers were endorsing crypto projects that later collapsed. But again, if you're branding yourself as a financial genius and one of the smartest businessmen in sports, you'd expect a little more due diligence before attaching your name to an investment company asking the public for millions of dollars. He still did have to pay $100,000 in SEC fines for promoting the scam, but that's nothing for the champ, who paid $18 million for a Jacob & Co. watch containing 260 carats of emerald-cut diamonds.
Because it goes up in value. It appreciates, not depreciate.
But his crypto schemes weren't over just yet, and this time, he was straight up laughing in our faces. The most unpredictable and insane news was announced at the end of 2020. Floyd Mayweather Jr. would be fighting YouTuber Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition. Piggybacking off the success his brother Jake Paul put in to make YouTuber boxing a globally recognized spectacle, Logan somehow struck a deal with one of the all-time greats. But it was heavily in Floyd's favor. Floyd reportedly secured a $10 million guarantee plus 50% of the pay-per-view upside. He also made another $30 million in endorsements, which included Ethereum Max or EMAX. This coin has absolutely no utility, but was promoted by Floyd and even Kim Kardashian during the summer of 2021. Mayweather Jr. sported the EMAX logo on his clothing leading up to and during the event. He even tried to say that it would be bigger than Bitcoin at the 2021 Bitcoin conference and was booed relentlessly by the crowd.
I believe that it's going to be another cryptocurrency that's going to be just as large as Bitcoin someday. It's okay. That's no different from Uber and Lyft.
Unsurprisingly, the coin that Mayweather was promoting went to zero almost immediately after it launched, and today, you can't even buy it. Later, Floyd was named in a class action lawsuit alleging that celebrity endorsements helped promote the Ethereum Max cryptocurrency in what investors described as a pump and dump scheme. And luckily, by the skin of his teeth, Floyd was not found liable for fraud. And while he didn't admit to intentionally misleading his followers to make some easy money with a crypto pump and dump, he did quite literally admit that the fight with Logan was a heist, aka stealing money out of anyone's pockets who thought this was a fair fight.
And then when I see it's a chance for me to do a heist, a quick heist, I'm gonna let y'all know this. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. At the end of the day, I'm the smart one.
Logan claims that Floyd still owes him money to this day.
I mean, Floyd Mayweather?
No, I didn't make as much money as you'd think fighting
Floyd. Did you get paid from that?
He still owes me $1.5 million, maybe more.
How does he owe you the money? Why don't you just
Here's what happened. He pre-sold the fight using my likeness to some company in, I think, Dubai or the Middle East for $10 million cash. We ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid me. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million.
And what's funny is Floyd didn't even deny it.
His brother said that you didn't pay him for the fight that y'all had together. What do you have to say to that? The Logan boy. I'm wishing him nothing but the best.
Now in this particular instance, most people are on Mayweather's side. Anyone who knows boxing knows Floyd would never put himself in a position to lose his perfect 50-0 record, even if it was just an exhibition. Plus, most people don't have any remorse left for Logan Paul, so the fact that he's not getting his $1.5 million from Floyd, they just don't care. But Mayweather being rewarded with millions of dollars for intentionally misleading people would become a dangerous cycle that he was seemingly trapped in. After his multiple retirements from professional boxing and a handful of exhibition matches, Mayweather's ability to generate hype around a return to the ring became less and less exciting. Therefore, he needed to put his business skills to the test to see if he could actually generate some revenue. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, a boxing studio, seemed like the most obvious business for him to start. His credentials as an undefeated world champion gave his personalized training programs and classes credibility. And at first, things seemed to be going well. Dozens of different locations across the country were open for business, with another 200 studios sold to franchisees for development by 2021. A crowdfunding campaign launched by Floyd also claimed the brand had the potential to become a multi-billion-dollar IP one day. But behind the scenes, both the business and its investors were losing millions of dollars every year. Balance sheets released by the SEC indicate a total net loss of $7 million in 2021 and 2022 on behalf of the business. This loss was directly tied to those who purchased franchising rights to run their own studios under Mayweather's brand. Multiple individuals reported investing upwards of $1 million into their franchises, ultimately seeing very little returns and closing down their locations. Of the 70 franchises open for business in 2023, only 26 remained operational by 2025. Meanwhile, Mayweather himself was pocketing $3 million in royalties. A lawsuit was filed on behalf of multiple disgruntled franchisees, alleging that the former athlete had intentionally misled them in their investment. Mayweather's lawyers claimed that he had little to no involvement in the management, operations, or strategic oversight of the business. They also imply that these individuals had exploited his name, image, and likeness for financial gain. This is ironic and borderline insane, considering that his gym, his franchise, that he got them to buy in the first place, was named after him. So of course they're using his name and likeness. Things only got worse when one location's employees staged a protest in response to not getting paid. Rather than reconciling the issue for those affected, Floyd was out buying a $200,000 watch with a bad check the very same day. But of course, he claimed he didn't know it was a bad check and they had no intentions to defraud the jeweler. Floyd will often boast about his billion-dollar real estate portfolio, which allegedly includes 9 skyscrapers located in New York City.
Actually, what I own right now is 9 skyscrapers.
While this claim has never been fully debunked, it also hasn't been substantially verified. In fact, all signs point to this being a massive exaggeration. Floyd has publicly tied himself to the One Vanderbilt, implying in 2018 that he was directly responsible for the building's construction. In reality, the building is owned in a joint venture between multiple ownership groups. It appears that Floyd may own shares of one of the companies involved in the deal, but he certainly does not possess 100% ownership, which makes you wonder, is he blatantly lying and over-exaggerating, or does he genuinely believe that he owns these buildings? He also claimed that he owns 62 apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Floyd directly stated that he possesses 100% ownership with no partners when announcing the acquisition, putting up $402 million of his own money through his investment firm, Vada Properties. However, weeks after the announcement, official ownership had never been transferred to Floyd. When this was revealed in an article published by Business Insider, Floyd Mayweather filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against the establishment. Floyd likely hoped that this would pressure Business Insider into retracting their article, but they never did. And then the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice shortly after. Meanwhile, Floyd continued to give more and more reasons to doubt his standing as a successful entrepreneur. Business Insider revealed in a subsequent article that Mayweather was taking out multi-million-dollar loans while defaulting on crucial payments for his many investments. Homes he owned were being seized due to unpaid property taxes, and lawsuits were filed after he skipped out on paying his private jet's fuel bills. The article also revealed that the courts had ordered Mayweather to pay out $2.4 million after skipping out on a public appearance he had already collected payment for. As if that wasn't bad enough, he had delayed paying the settlement, and compounding interest sent the total fee to over $3 million. The empire of lies and bad business deals Floyd created was crumbling around him, and to make matters worse, the one man he could go to for anything financial or business related was about to become his #1 enemy. Jonah Reschnitz is Floyd's former financial advisor, and he once said, "I trust Jonah, not just 10%, 20%, 100%. Only a year after expressing this sentiment, Jonah became the scapegoat and defendant in a $175 million lawsuit filed by Floyd himself. The suit alleges that Jonah had misled and lied about business deals he was supposedly invested in. According to Floyd, when he claimed to have purchased 62 apartment buildings in Manhattan, he wasn't just blowing smoke, but rather he had been taken advantage of by Jonah. Conveniently, Jonah is allegedly responsible for it all. The bad checks, the unpaid jet fuel bills, the insane claims of owning New York City skyscrapers. Floyd claims these were all Jonah's predatory business methods. Floyd also claims that Jonah had used $100 million worth of jewelry as collateral to take out a $13 million loan behind the back of his client. Not only did Jonah deny these allegations, he brought receipts in an exclusive interview with YouTuber Spencer.
Don't fucking lie on my name. He bet. See Floyd Mayweather get to start lying on niggas' names and shit just because you a boxer and you know how to beat niggas' ass, knock niggas out. Don't lie on my name. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna get on this internet and not say shit. Switches, bitch. You better box a fucking switch. Playing with my ass. Don't get the line on niggas' name because you a boxer. You know you can knock niggas out. His ass better have that ARP ready for his ass.
Cornelia.
Around August 2025, Floyd needed cash money, so he decided to start pawning his jewelry. Here's a text on August 25th, 2025 of Jonah sending Floyd an image of his watch and the word loan below. That represents that watch as being within the group that was being pawned. Here's the second image sent on that day. The top image is a collection of watches that were grouped together for a November loan and that many had been returned after the balance was paid down. Here's the next message of another collection of watches that were used for a loan. The image on the left is an exhibit Floyd included in the complaint. Within this list are 4 of the watches you see in the text message on the right that were included in the group of watches that were pawned. This indicates he continues to lie about not knowing that his watches were getting pawned for a loan to fund his lifestyle.
Text messages also show Floyd directly acknowledging the $13 million loan, with a majority of the balance set to be paid by pawning off watches he used as collateral. Now, there's nothing wrong with Floyd figuring out a way to get some cash off his insane watch collection. The problem is it hurts his perception as a business mastermind. In the eyes of the public, it makes him look desperate for money, and it also makes it seem like he doesn't even follow his own basic advice.
If you make 100,000, you have to put 50,000 up. If you make 100 million, you have to put 50 million up. You have to save money for a rainy day.
Mayweather alleges that Jonah caused him to sell his Gulfstream jet to an unknown buyer for an unknown amount. He also claims that Jonah diverted $15 million in funds related to an investment in SL Green. Now, it is totally possible that Jonah is guilty of these accusations. Mayweather could easily have someone on his team executing shady business deals or straight up stealing from him. But while Mayweather is trying to get $175 million from Jonah, another company he allegedly defrauded is suing him for double that amount. In 2025, a promotion company called CSI Sports sued him. The lawsuit claims they agreed to pay Mayweather $14 million to fight Mike Tyson, including a $2 million advance. They also alleged to get the exclusive rights to the fight after Mike Tyson, which would be with Manny Pacquiao. More geriatric boxing cash grabs. CSI claims Mayweather entered into an agreement in December with another company, Ever Wonder, for $24.75 million, including a $2.75 million advance and the potential for a $3.75 million bonus. Once again, another business deal where Mayweather gets some cash up front, but then there's disputes over who owns what rights, who is owed money, and what promises were actually made. This paints the picture of a businessman who repeatedly operates in legal gray areas that almost always end up in court. But now his debts are higher than ever. He is still facing felony charges for writing the bad checks. He was ordered to pay $1 million back in child support payments, and he also has a $7.2 million IRS lien against him for unpaid taxes. And all of this has resulted in Floyd seemingly scrambling for money wherever he can. While many media outlets are quick to call him broke, I think that's a bit of an oversimplification. It appears that Floyd has engaged in too many unethical business practices or straight up pissed off way too many people, and they just aren't putting up with it anymore, which is why he's trapped in like a million lawsuits right now. We have a strong reason to believe, considering his tax attorney literally admitted to it, that he just stalls on paying off debts for as long as possible. But nobody feels bad for the IRS, and it's not much of a blow to his reputation. However, who's to say that Floyd doesn't apply this same exact strategy to jewelers, franchise owners, opposing boxers, boxing promoters, business partners? Well, because intentionally misleading people or not paying people on purpose after an agreement was made would be considered fraud. And of course, Floyd Mayweather Jr. would never do that. But the pattern is impossible to unsee. Whenever business deals go right, Floyd boasts about it to tout his supposed genius-level business intellect. But when business deals go wrong, he didn't know, it wasn't his intention, or it was somebody else's fault, followed by lawsuits. The problem is, at the ripe age of 49, he's just too old or too untrustworthy to put together a fight for another multi-million-dollar payday and get himself out of debt. And if Floyd was even 10% as successful as he claims he is, he would not need to get back in the ring. The only logical explanation for him getting back inside the ropes would be that he isn't the successful businessman he claims to be. And if the rise and fall of legendary fighters is your thing, check out this video I made about Conor McGregor.
I don't know what's wrong with fingers. I don't know, man. I'm tired as fuck. Floyd Mayweather, if he went broke, you're a dumbass. If he didn't go broke, he probably just not making the money he used to make. But if he did go broke, you a complete dumbass. That's all I got to say.